Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, Pine Avenue pioneer and community leader, John Morris.
Opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Charter Communications nor its sponsors. We recognize our obligation to present opposing points of view by responsible spokespersons. For information, please contact the director of program.
She stands in the face of evil and will not lose hope or faith. America, the land of freedom, is still the home of the brave. So raise the banner, call Old Glory. Let us join our fellow man. History will write the story. America will always stand.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by Southern California Edison. For over 100 years, life powered by Edison. The Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to the first show of the new year here on Straight Talk. I'm your host, Art Levine, and we're delighted to have as our guest for the entire show a legend in his own mind, a legend in the community, a real marketing pioneer and entrepreneur, the one and only John Morris. John, welcome to Straight Talk.
Thank you, Arthur.
I learned a few things before we went on air tonight about John, and maybe you don't know them. He came over as a 16-year-old from Liverpool, outside of Liverpool, England, and went to high school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. John served in the military, our military, the Air Force, for 5 years. 4 years, and then he came to California in 1973. And this is really hysterical. John, you were in the dress business for 7 years.
As a women's
What
fashions.
in the world did you do in the dress business?
I used to be a manufacturer's rep in women's clothing and travel the state of California, Arizona, Nevada, and Hawaii.
And seeing all those beautiful women, models and all, you decided to open Legends.
Well, you know, it was an easy transition. Dresses to cheerleaders.
You know, we sports bars today are all over, but this was something quite new and unique at the time.
Yeah, we were pretty much the first sports bar. I mean, nobody ever really emphasized the use of TVs in the establishments back then, and we used to go to a place called McKenna's Creek, as you know, and you'd have to ask the bartender to bring out the TV from the closet to watch a game. There was really nowhere to go to watch it, so we opened Legends, and we had the first satellite dish, first big screen TV, a rear projection TV that had, it had to be 15 feet deep for the lenses to make it bright enough to show on a screen. It's amazing the technology today. Now it's an inch.
And ABC and other affiliates were out there for the big games, photographing Legends and crowd reaction to the games and all.
Yeah, I think we were on, in our first 5 years of business, I think we were on national TV minimum, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 times. We're on, they did a live remote to Australia during the Olympics when they were 84 Olympics, when they were here playing in Long Beach with the water polo and the volleyball.
So you and your partner, Dennis Harrer, really created something quite unique.
I think definitely it was, yeah, I don't really think we knew what we were getting into when we got into it. I was doing the dresses and opened this, we had this idea, and look what it's turned into.
And of course, you also were instrumental in starting the Belmont Shore Christmas Parade that just celebrated its 28th anniversary.
Yeah, when you know, when people look back, they don't know that in 1979, 2nd Street was not really the hustle and bustling place that it is today. There were more bars back in '79 than there is today. Yeah. And it needed a boost of traffic, and we came up with ideas to really draw traffic to the street, and Panama Joes and Legends were kind of like the anchors of the street.
But those early parades were a real ragtag bunch of flatbed trucks and whatever.
I spent many starts of the parade at Livingston and Second with a headset on and the walkie-talkies and just directing traffic. It was kind of now it's huge.
But one thing was a constant. Everything began and ended at Legends.
That's right. Always
Basic
did and always
rule.
will.
And so then you said, enough of this, I want something different, and you went down to Pine Avenue.
Yeah, well, I thought back then I was more in the bar business versus the food business, and I thought I should try the food business, and I don't know what whet my appetite to move to Pine Avenue, but something drew me downtown, and the rest is history on that.
Well, you opened up Mum's, and my friend Larry Agajanian helped develop the Bank of America building with La Opera and all, and you and La Opera were pretty lonely those first few years.
Well, I think I opened in '79, and then the Pine Avenue Fish House came on board about 18 months later, and then La Opera came after that. So once La Opera opened, it really gave the street that next bump.
Yes,
and
you had a vision of Pine Avenue as an elegant dining place and activities, and it started, and then something happened.
Well, it's again, we go through cycles. Pioneering is a long process, and unfortunately,
a lonely process.
Well, it's long, lonely, long, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I think that Pine Avenue will be what we all envisioned when I came down there in '88. But it's just going to take a little bit longer. I think you're going to see a new transition of restaurants. Now that the AMC's closed, that's going to change the makeup of the street. That traffic will now go to the Pike. I think you will end up seeing the restaurant row up on Pine again.
There's a character and a quality to Upper Pine Avenue that the Pike, well, I've said before, the Pike to me is a disgrace as a design, but that's a whole nother subject. But it did draw away people, and the waterfront restaurants, as you accurately predicted, sucked away traffic from Upper Pine, and it caused you to have to try and change your formula from Mum's to Smooth's.
Well, I think that, hindsight's so easy for a lot of people, I guess. Maybe I should have left years ago, but I always had this sense that it could work and we could figure things out. And you have the difference with Upper Pine is you have all the independent restaurant owners.
Yes.
The Pike is all corporate chains.
Yep.
So even though we don't get along all the time on Upper Pine, we do end up making the right decisions and do things for what's best for downtown and what's best for the city. But it's a process.
Well, sadly, or maybe happily, you decided to close Smooth's in September of this year, of 2010. And we'll talk later about what you want for the future, but that really was the end of a chapter on Pine.
Well, I think that it's a perfect time for me. I've never been happier than I am today for a long time, and it was time. I think that I've beat my head against the wall. I've created, I have my friends, I have my enemies, and I'm over dealing with the enemies.
No one ever doubts where you stand, though. You're a straight talker, as we would say on the show, and I respect you for that. And you also, while creating Mum's and Smooth's, created that wonderful New Year's Eve party that ran for many years.
Yeah, I think that story, that came about because of the Belmont Shore Christmas Parade. It was a matter of how do we generate traffic down here? We can't do a Christmas parade on Pine Avenue, but it was like, let's do a Times Square on Pine. And it became a
thousands and thousands down
huge success. And that was a battle in itself to get that done. But now it's a big event.
Okay. We'll be back with this amazing entrepreneur and marketing genius in many ways, John Morris. Stay with us.
Electricity is different from any other product we use. We can't store it. We must use it wisely, but can't do without it completely. And there's no substitute for this special form of energy that brings us light, comfort, and progress. That's why California needs new standards that can keep utilities strong, guard against another power crisis, and protect consumers from the kind of shortages that often affect other commodities. Because electricity is different.
The facts are in. California State University Long Beach is among the nation's finest universities. For the 4th consecutive year, the campus ranked in the top 5 public comprehensive universities in the western United States. In 2007, Cal State Long Beach was named the 3rd best value among all American public colleges and universities. Through superior teaching, research, and community service, Cal State Long Beach is changing lives for a changing world.
Getting kids to care about economics is easier than you think. You just need to find a connection. Like how the Port of Long Beach supports 1 in 8 jobs in our city alone, and how the Port's commitment to going green is creating even more new jobs. So the Port of Long Beach? Cool. My no texting in class policy? Not so cool.
The Port of Long Beach, investing in jobs, investing in you.
As your business searches for smart ways to save, don't forget about the one that's right in front of you. Switch to the Charter Business Bundle and you can save big without sacrificing a thing. Get reliable business telephone and high-speed internet with local support and great features. Power your business with great savings starting today. It's easy to pay less and get more. Call now and make a switch to the Charter Business Bundle.